Welcome to the Learning by Doing podcast. My name is Ethan Cisneros, Ethan from Thirst, as I like to brand myself. I'm the owner of Thirst Drinks here in Salt Lake. We are a very loud, offensive, ambitious company, and this podcast is part of the documentation of my journey. Here you're going to find insights in me running my business and kind of the behind the scenes. So let's check out an episode. Episode, once again, I don't know, of the Learning by Doing podcast. One thing I do know, I am here with Isabelle. I honestly loved to have you here today, but that's also your username. I didn't plan that.
That was really good.
Her username on Instagram is I honestly love. This is Isabelle Baker.
Isabelle Baker.
Yep. In the community, what's your maiden name?
Dietrich. Yep.
Which is how we met originally, or did you just come to Thirst?
So my sister Olivia runs Utah Grubs.
Yeah.
She got the whole gang here. You've had Olivia. Yeah. You had her on in like November. I want to say.
So everyone, this is Olivia's sister.
Everyone's related to Liv.
So now
we're
which
repopulating
sister
Mill
performs
Creek.
better on the Learning by Doing? Oh,
we're repopulating Mill Creek. But
I
didn't live here, so I just had big FOMO watching everyone pull through.
Where'd
so
you
whenever
live?
I was in town, we've been all over, and I'm sure we'll get into that.
Okay, yeah.
We'll get into that.
Well,
I've moved all over, but we just moved home because of the world, so.
We've talked, in our talks before the podcast, just about the podcast, she mentioned like she hasn't done a lot of talking about marketing or business on a podcast. No. Is that true?
This is true.
So speaking of that, I want to tell the Isabelle is like, what's your entrepreneurial story? From the lens of, it doesn't have to be entrepreneurship or marketing. What's the lens of Isabelle's careers? Like, what did that look like, and where do you want it to go? And just tell the story. Take it back.
Okay, well, my
Where'd you
story.
go to high school, Olympus?
I went to Olympus High School.
Okay, sorry.
I didn't really pay much attention in school. Just kind of struggled through it. Went to college at the University of Utah. Oh, I did so bad. C's to get degrees was my motto.
Really?
But, I made it through. I went to college, which no one thought I'd do. I loved it. I thrived.
Did you graduate?
I did. I graduated with a degree in communications.
Got it.
Which has kind
That's
of
what I
flowed
was
nice
working
into
on.
this all. Did you do communications as well?
I didn't finish, but I started it, yeah.
Look at what you're doing, though. You're doing better than I am.
It was my favorite to
That's
pick.
good. I loved it. Communications was kind of a degree people made fun of, but I think in the world today, it is that degree to have marketing, communications, all of that kind of creative content.
I do like communications.
Yeah, I loved it. So I graduated from the U, I want to say in 2013. I was married.
What'd you want to do? Like, why'd you pick that one? Were you like, I'm going to do marketing? Or what?
No.
Because if you're going to do like the news even, don't you do
Yes, you kind of do communication broadcasting, like maybe a minor and emphasis in broadcasting.
Yeah.
I, truth be told, had no idea. So what I was doing that was working me through college was I was a personal assistant. So I was working for other people. I'm super detail oriented in college. Yeah, and so I really loved helping people's
Were you going through their email form?
Going through their email forum, they'd give I thrive when people give me a vision and I make it come to life. So in whatever medium that is, that's what I was doing. And for who I was working with in college, it was a financial advisor. I mean, not the line of work that I wanted to go into, but I loved being a personal assistant. Let me dig into that part of the story. Yeah.
So when you were doing these, because I don't think everyone, so I just hired a super dope assistant. Her name is Lauren. I don't think everyone could do a lot of the stuff that she does, which is like she can figure things out really well. That's why I want to hire her.
For sure. And a good assistant anticipates your needs.
Or was yours more of like a list of stuff to get done, or was it what I think it was, which is here's the idea of what we want. I need you to go figure it out.
I need you to do it. I don't have the time to pay attention to the little details. It'd be things like I'd set these things out on his desk and like, can you remind your daughter's birthday's next Thursday? I stalked her account. This is what she's into, this is what she wants, and it's wrapped up on your desk.
You go way over, like
way over.
Over deliver.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like I saw in your email, reminded you to pick this up for dinner. I picked this up, grabbed her that. So just a majority of things. But then I got married and my husband got into law school, and we went up to Oregon, the U of O.
How long ago was that?
This was now 5 years ago. So when we started into law school. And my husband, he's like...
So you're Utah, then moved to Oregon.
Utah to Oregon was the first move.
Got it.
And my husband is a really smart guy, and he knows he wanted to come back to this Utah market. And he essentially is like...
To be a lawyer.
To be a lawyer.
Got it.
He's like, I'm just a kid, born and raised here, wants a job here, and I don't stand out. I'm not unique. He knew that. Like no one had to tell him that. He had a denial letter already and said, he's like, I know I need to stand out. As a lawyer. As even a lawyer. So
Crazy.
we got a scholarship to the U, but he's like, I'm going to take it somewhere else. So we went to Oregon, first summer came around and, you know, you can go out and work. And he's like, you know, I could stay in Oregon or we could go to Utah and be with family. He's like, we're going to move. And he kind of sat me down. He's just like, whatever you can make work, this is our plan. And we didn't know it would be as big as it was, but essentially in those 3 years of law school, we've lived in Oregon, New York City, Texas, San Francisco.
Where was he going to school in these
He was
states?
going to school in the fall and the
virtual?
spring, and then every summer we'd go away.
Okay.
So we spent summers in other places.
Gotcha.
And so it got to
Or
a
were you
point
doing
where
travel, like
no.
experiencing everything? Or were you working? Or were you...
So that was it. He's like, I was working him through law school, but I needed a job where I wasn't just, you know, popping into a pottery barn and saying I can start in April, but I got to quit in September.
Gotcha.
So it was on me to literally wing it, and like I made up my job. And I marketed myself,
right out
and
of college, basically?
right out of college. Yep, I made up a
what'd
job
you
I
do?
wanted, my dream career, and I just had the confidence to do it. I got one client under my belt, and then word of mouth spread, and now I'm helping people do what I do, friends, family, training girls, and just
So before you go
turning
into
things away.
like just a tangent is, you've been helping my buddies from Happy Tooth.
yes,
And like just
Love Dr. A.
seriously, like unreal result. Talk about depth, which I want to ask you about. Like,
Yeah.
like how real and significant are your followers? Because I know that's something you're really hot on.
Yeah.
Isabelle got a lot of it. She can drive tons of results, so she's
so
putting up
sweet.
the scores. But anyways, keep going.
No, so yeah, that was it. I
So you were started a
made
social
my
media,
own job.
like
So social
marketing
media,
business, or?
managing. So like,
How'd you pitch it? Like, how'd you get the first one? What'd
so
you
the
do?
first one, I went to their feed and I could see the vision they were going for. I'm someone I think I lean towards more of a creative side of marketing, you know, kind of the aesthetic. You always hear that word aesthetic, which is brand imagery, which is just something all brands want to do. They want an image. Like when you think anthropology, I can tell you the colors.
Yeah.
I can tell you the vibe. I can tell you about what their next 4 lines are going to be because I know that core image. And so I took their Instagram.
Like, are you just good at that?
I'm just good at that. I love
Like
stuff
you
like
see
that.
a page or a post and you're like,
Yeah.
yes or no?
Yes or no.
Yeah.
I shop. I know what I want and I know what I'm looking for. So I took a screenshot of their Instagram.
Is this
and
a
I
local
found
place or?
No, this is a
Someone you
that's a
found
big,
on Instagram?
yeah, a big,
Okay.
well-found shop I was shopping for.
Was
I
it a
still
big
work
business?
For 'em.
Because I think this is
Yeah.
something, like I like to think all my followers or my listeners are like entrepreneurs trying to make
Yeah.
it. And I bet a lot of them are trying to start the business that you
Yeah.
want to start.
Yeah.
Like, how'd you get your first client? Who was it? Like,
Slid into their
as
DMs.
mu-
I'm
yeah,
not
just like-
saying who they
yeah,
were, but
let's
they
say
were pretty big. They weren't just
what
a
kind of
Utah
com-
market.
yeah.
Clothing. So
Okay.
I slid into this person's Instagram and I took the screenshot.
How many followers they have?
Oh, golly geez.
You know, range.
Range.
Were they like 20,000 plus?
60,000.
Oh, they're big.
It's like it's a little boutique, but enough that like it's not just Utah,
Gotcha.
right? Like they
Okay.
didn't know me, I didn't
I
know
won't ask
anyone, I had
anymore.
no shoe in, right?
Got it.
And I took a screenshot, and I found an app that helped me kind of show, you know how you can plan ahead in Instagram. You can
Yeah,
plan
yeah,
your
yeah.
next few photos to make the feed look cohesive. And I said, this is what I see for your brand. You know, this is what I do. I manage your posts. I'm going to plan your photo shoots. I'm going to work with your influencers. I could just take over. And they were like, didn't know this existed. When can you start? And I had my first client.
How involved were you proposing that you would be?
Involved every day, all the day-to-day, full-time.
So you're like, I'm your marketing person.
I am your new marketing person.
But were you
creating,
like,
capturing the content, planning the content,
were you
shooting it.
Were you Isabelle's company that was like kind of like a contractor, or were
Yeah,
you like, I want to join your
contracted.
team?
So
Or
I
is
have,
it like,
I
I
have
want you to
different
be a
clients
client
with
or a
different
team?
needs. So like fast forward to today, I have different clients. So some I'm on like maybe let's say part-time. I'm regular employee on their payroll.
Gotcha.
And others like it'll just be like a sit-down luncheon, or I'll come in for a few weeks and just kind of keep an eye on things. I'll kind of watch for a few weeks how their audience interacts with them, you know, what times of days they're seeming to post the most. And then I come in at the end, we have a big sit down. We kind of like, okay, here's what we're going to do. And then, so after that first client, it was word of mouth. I heard you did this for this person, or
Yeah.
I've been needing someone to do the same. And
Well, just
I've
like
had
I
to
just
start
talked
turning
about with
away
the
people.
local business, like one of my buddies, like
Yes.
would one of, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and he found me through another client.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How, one thing I think, so I'm going to push on you, ready?
Okay.
One thing I think people are executing poorly on in your like line of business is a lot of them don't know what they're doing before they try to go sell themselves.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's frustrating as a business owner sometimes because you have people that are driving insane results like you, but you've also got someone who's like closer to my age who actually has never done marketing and has no idea or has has been doing no research or education to do it.
For sure.
But is working on the marketing of selling a business owner marketing.
Yes.
Not actually doing marketing.
Not even a marketer themselves, for sure.
And, you know, and that's a lot of, I feel like, what you see today with like courses and things that are like that. Those people I feel like are in the business. So I feel like sometimes social media marketers are in the business of selling the business owner to be their client, but not so much in the business of being marketers on social media. You, on the other hand, are the opposite of that. But how do you understand? Are you aware of that?
Yeah, I get
or is
what
that
you're
like
saying.
more of like
no, it's
from
like
the
it was
business
like
owner?
you know, when I was in high school, the thing was like everyone's a model. It's like you can take cool photos and you call yourself a model. But I think there's error and I think there's beauty in that, and I'll tell you why. I am someone who's a perfectionist, and I don't like to push out content unless it's perfect. And I was talking to one of my mentors, that's a guy I DM on Instagram. He just kind of does marketing tips, all those sort of things. And I'm just like, you know, I'm not pushing out a ton of content because I want it to be perfect and I want to make sure I know what I'm talking about. And he said, how'd you start? And I said, I slid into someone's DM. He's like, did you like really study what you decided to do for career? I said, no. And he's like, did you, take courses? Did you? And he's like, no. And he said, if we wait for perfection, you just got to go for it.
100%, yeah.
You've just got to go for it. And that's what I did. And it was, we all learn. I don't think anyone starts out of the gate and is perfect at what they do. And so I went for it. I was also candid about my experience. I think that's one thing. Like when I've worked with people and, I'm a big marketer. It's like,
what does that mean?
Are
exactly?
you though?
Like,
and I was disappointed in the results.
What does that mean? Like, I don't even know what that word means, honestly.
Which word?
Candid.
Candid is just like to be frank, which is also a word I can't explain to you.
Are you saying like you weren't like acting like you were a know-it-all?
Exactly.
You're like,
I just said, this would be my first client and I'm down to hustle and I will do this for you. And I'd already shown them what I was capable of, and they're like, that right there took courage, one.
Yeah.
And two, like you obviously have vision. Like you know what you're talking. There are some people just born with it. There are some people that honestly like do better than people that go to school and study it for years. And so that's the one
crazy,
side of it. But I also think just being really like
that's the
honest with
too.
your experience and honest with your training, and people will appreciate that.
Well, so I think that's the whole difference. Like you are the difference, which is, and you're like me. Like I feel like I do this in my entrepreneurship all the time. Like there's someone like us that we're not necessarily saying we know everything. It reminds me kind of like my like what I like to do with my Ethan from Thirst account. Like, I'm not out here saying I'm having the right answers, but like I'm gonna do anything to figure out what it is. Like there's no one who will out hustle me to figure out what it is. Feels like you were doing the same thing, right? Like if from a business owner's perspective, and I've literally been pitched the social media business a billion times for my business or whatever type of sale that was, like for a new software or whatever. I feel like when they go in more of the angle of like, hey, I'm not trying to like outsmart you or impress you or act like I am, but I'm actually just here and I'll do my absolute best to do a good job. That's a way better sell to me. It's a way better
sell. And like clients I've had, so like they'll tell me, looking back, like when we've wrapped things up or even those that I still work with, I ask them, I say, what made you choose me? And, obviously what can I work on? All of those things.
Yeah.
And one of the most like profound things someone's told me in marketing, one of my clients started talking, I said, why'd you choose me over like an ad agency? There are now full-blown agencies. I mean, I kick myself for not just starting like an LLC. I'm kind of doing it, but I'm just small. I'm one person. And there are whole agencies that are out there doing what I'm doing and pumping out results, pumping out clients.
Do you want something like that, by the way?
That's like a goal for me.
Is
for
it?
Sure.
Would you want to be at the top of like a agency that just does amazing marketing for companies?
I love seeing friends and family, people I know, random strangers DM me, moms wanting to stay home and provide for their family. They're creative. They know how to work with people and help them do what I do because I've now supported my husband, who's an attorney, and like I'm still.
This is no joke.
Like our bread, like yes, it's no joke. But they told me, they said, like this podcast. Take this for an example. You're out there to give people insight. You're out there to give tips. You're to share. And someone could sit and listen to this podcast and say, like, all the information's in one way or another in some medium, whether it's a podcast or a TikTok course or something has been shared, and every thought's been thought. And that's not what matters. It doesn't matter that like, someone could probably create that same content for that company, right? They could work hard, catch that same vision and replicate it. It was the individual. So it's like, what value you bring. Like, thirst is not thirst without Ethan.
Yeah.
Right? And like the voice that I give to companies, like there's a whole tone behind them now, and it's something only I could do. And so to think that there's not room for you, or like it's all been done, every thought's been thought, song's been sung, whatever. The best marketers to me are the people who they're aware of that, but they're also aware that like I connect with my followers in a way that no one else could.
Yeah.
And that's why they follow me. There's 1 million influencers in Utah alone. I mean, I
so many.
I just bump into one a day.
Yeah.
So I could sit and say like, I don't want to do this anymore. But to them, I'm friend to them, right? And it's like you're friends with, and you and Rachel have a relationship that you might not have with Alex, right? But you still need Alex and you still need Rachel. So there's value and there's space for everybody. And so don't shy away from just trying it. Just try it.
Okay, let me tell you my updated, this is what I've really been thinking about marketing for brand, like using social media, talking on social media as a brand.
Yeah.
Whether it's a personal brand like we're trying to do or for my business. I think people in general overthink it so much, and if they would simplify it down, it would actually play so much more to their advantage, and reasons you probably already know, but to just explain myself, which is authentic, in a world where there is 1 billion influencers, right? And we know how the algorithm works, which is if people like things, they see more of it. It's very simple, right? So we have to figure out a way to be, something that people like. I think the only way to do it is to be yourself, to be authentic.
100%.
Like you say, thirst because of Ethan. Yeah, it's because I'm literally here. It's as authentic as it gets. I think if people would think more of marketing as just communicating, just talking, what I do, what Rachel now does, this company does on our Instagram, which is the number one way that we still, when everyone's saying Instagram algorithm's dying, you and I are crushing it on Instagram, with the stuff that we the way we're doing it. It's because we're just talking. We're not writing ads. Yeah. And I think that's the biggest thing. Stop thinking about this as a place where we're gonna write a great commercial or give that hook that's gonna get them into the store, and just be like, oh yeah, these are those people that are. I'll talk in because I know me. I'll stay in my lane. It's these are those people that are coming through the drive-thru supporting my business. It's probably a good idea to be talking to them and let them know about specials, or ask for their feedback, or if they comment, to reply, or if they send me a message, make sure I get back to them.
100%.
Those are the people that are buying things at my company. And if you think about it that way, it's not so much pressure, and as you know, no one, when someone tries to write an ad, it's horrible. It's the worst piece of content ever. But if you go on there and you just do a raw, unedited video, you 100%. Can't make the best video on Instagram. You can't be the best in that way. I think the way to be the best is to just talk. It's to literally, that's why I love just posting a just unedited iPhone video on the main Thirst page sometimes. Yeah. It's just you guys remember that it's just me being grateful for you.
Well, that's why they're here and not McDonald's.
Yeah.
Right?
Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. Yeah. And for me, it's that, my mom and I were talking, she's and I follow one person for X. I follow one person because they make me laugh. And I follow this person because of X. So it's there's so much value to add, but what I have seen that's done the best for me is that people feel like they have a friend, right? And I am their friend. I genuinely care about the content I'm putting out there and the people I'm connecting with. Isabelle, I'm a bridesmaid next weekend. Can you help me pick out a dress? I've never met this person a day in my life. I couldn't even tell you where the wedding is, but they've found that connection to me, and they've never bought something off an infomercial. I rarely buy things off ads, Google ads, Facebook ads, but influencing, we all do. I think influencers get a lot of hate. You're an influencer. If you have a sister, she's your influencer. Mm-hmm. You see something on her, I want that. Where'd you get that? And so that's all it is for me, is on a platform where I have a lot more friends than I'd probably have in person in real life. And we're just giving each other life advice and watching each other go about our days. And I happen to make money doing it, and it's been such a joy. That's all there is to it, just connection.
Let's get so I think we should help some people. I love to please. Talk, especially with someone like you, who's helping brands. If we could give 1 or 2 tactical 2021 things that is a strategy. One thing I always talk about this authenticity thing, authenticity, just make a video, just talk. But when we were talking, I think it was yesterday when you were talking, tell me about kind of your content strategy, how you pop on and sell a ton. Mm-hmm. it's totally different than mine. And I think like mine wouldn't work for you and yours wouldn't work for me.
100%, but they both work.
They both work. So basically what it was is, you guys know I post 24/7 every time. I love it. I always want to be talking. And she was telling me about, and that's what up until this really point, I've told everyone to do, but I've been realizing more, it's not a blanket statement if you're also going to say authenticity is the most important.
And
anyways, tell them what your strategy is and why it works for you. And
so my strategy, so at first it kind of stemmed from a place that, you know, I am this wife working my husband through law school. I do not have the funds to act like I'm out all day running errands and shopping at Anthro and then stopping in here and grabbing this. And this is, you know, I have a budget.
Yeah.
So I really appreciated, I found a couple influencers that were just really sharing things like on a budget. Like, this is what they actually own. And so that kind of sparked this idea in me. It's like, you know, not a lot of people are out there doing and just sharing what they love. Because how influencing works, I don't know if you know the whole back end. You do not have to own a single thing that you're sharing. So there's an app that we use, and you go on and you essentially, it's a Google search for every store, you name it, Walmart, Anthropologie, West Elm, Target, and you go on and then it takes you to their site as if you're on their search engine, type in an item.
What's this site
It's called Reward Style, or there's Shop Style, there's a lot of different kinds.
Used by influencers?
You apply, it's used by influencers. You have to apply to the program.
Gotcha.
I applied for years, finally got in last year.
Gotcha.
So thrilled.
You need like a follower count.
You need a following count, usually above
and
10K,
gotcha.
swipe ups.
That's probably.
And you click on an item, and it tells you how much the item is, and it tells you what your commission is, which is usually 5 to 10%. And
is this like a company that created this?
Yes.
It's like a
It's
platform.
like $1 billion company. Yeah,
really?
platform for influencers. They just connect Reward Style. So they connect companies with influencers. So I never talk to Anthropologie. They don't know who I am. They'll never know who I am.
Yeah.
But I have access to go on their store, copy and paste a link to an item.
It's so smart.
Links back to me, and I can make 5 to 10% commission. And so it would be so easy for me, Ethan, to go online all day and say, I love this dress, I love these shoes, I love this purse, and see that my commission would just add up and add up. But the strategy that works for me is like, guess what, Isabelle, you know full well you're not buying that dress today. Mm-hmm. You know full well your husband would murder you if you came home with that purse today. And so my strategy has been not getting on every day. So what I will do is I will wait till the next time I buy something, which may be next week. And I will get and I'll say, guys, these shoes, like, oh my gosh, I'll rave about it, and I'll log off, and I am shocked at the results. Because my audience knows I'm not just gonna sit there and like sell them an ad of something that I don't actually own, I don't actually use, I don't trust, but I'm getting a paycheck.
Yeah.
Like, I turn down brand collabs all the time. And like,
So
I tried it once. I tried to kind of like share things like, oh, this is what I really like. And I was sharing every day. And I noticed my sales were just like, they were okay. Like, they were good, but it wasn't what I was passionate about. And so I'm just sticking to that, like what I honestly loved. Yeah. And the days that I do it, like my followers are like, I set alarms. Like when I know you're going to get on, like, and we sell things out.
Yeah.
We sell things out.
So now I think a lot of people think about like, I hate when people try to like hack this content strategy of like when to post, how much to post, what it should be. Like, this is a perfect example, our two complete like almost opposite strategies in some ways of, it's about the content. It's about her not faking it and saying she bought the dress, and she did. It's about the fact that she's making good content when she wants to make it, regardless of when. It's the content and the algorithm plays in our favor, right? If it's good, it's good. And like, you can't fake everyone.
You can't fake everyone. So like this, like, so how I found Dr. Hanks and how I found you is I worked with this mattress company in Utah, and you know, I'd found the mattress company, and I started posting about it and raving about it, and then we got in contact, and they're like, we don't know what's going on. Like, who are you? Like, you are literally not on our radar to be like so kind about it. And they were freaking out. And my followers knew, and they'd seen my strategy. They know I would never in a million years feel comfortable sharing, go buy this mascara. If I knew everybody was going to log off that night, try the mascara, and be like, oh, that's the worst thing I've ever tried. Like, that gave me highs. So when my followers are like, no, I know that $1,200 on a bed is, I mean, for me, that's like a big purchase. I don't take that lightly, but the fact that they knew, like, I'm willing enough to get up here, stare you in the eye, and be like, no, I full-heartedly believe, like, you will not like this mattress. It has now become like a part of, like, I am addressed like at random times in public as like the mattress lady, and I own it, and so like I continue even when we're not actively working together. They get so many sales because people know And then that works for me.
Yeah.
And so there is, I mean, of course there's strategies. Like I try to maybe think like, okay, more people are probably on at nighttime, you know, kids are to bed. And when I have time, I assume probably other people have time. 12 to 2. I know kids are napping, carpools are being ran, but the strategy is the content.
Yeah, it's about the content.
It's about the content. So you can overthink things, you can overplan things, you can analyze the algorithm and how many likes you need. You can drive yourself mad because none of us know. Instagram will keep us guessing.
Yeah.
You've got to be passionate. People know your heart. They know you believe in it. They know you love it, or you wouldn't do it. And like, that's all that matters. I
got something that I think is still interesting is that, to your point, how like bonkers crazy it goes when you do something like that for a business.
Yeah.
Or what I was talking about with Happy Tooth. I don't think everyone, business owners, I don't think they still fully understand what it is. I'm trying to post on LinkedIn more.
Okay.
So I posted like 3 times this week, and one of them I did a poll. It was, if you had $500 to spend on marketing and you were a local flower shop, and you needed to drive customers to increase sales for a month. You have $500. What would you spend it on? What would be the highest ROI on your money?
Oh, I already know the answer.
It was the options, multiple choice. Instagram influencer, Google AdWords. I think I put paid ads on Facebook or like direct mail. Okay. My thought, I've never seen anything like it, to your point. Like, we haven't worked together as long, but your sister, like, if you find someone that is as real as both of you are and also fits your demo, Liv and all of her followers are the people that come through my drive-thru and like it the most. If Utah Grubs or you or any of these influencers we found local in the community that are posting real content and have real followers, when they're posting, it's unlike anything else. Like we do all of it. I love marketing so much. I invest all my money into it. I do Google ad. I do them all, but there's nothing that can be dollar for dollar the return you get on a properly like put together influencer
combo.
Campaign.
Agreed.
You know, and so have you ran into this, like working with brands, them either not like valuing the power of it enough? Do you get a ton of pushback all the time? I'm here to tell you guys that, listen to me, I'm doing it all. And we're both here to tell you it's changing people's businesses. And honestly, the more people that find out about it, the more expensive it is going to be for us as business owners.
Yeah.
So,
but truly, like a big warning here. I mean, I can only speak for myself, and I have friends that do. I have a family, obviously, that does it, and they say the same thing. I mean, it's kind of my favorite thing. I've talked with brands, especially for small businesses. I don't like to charge. I just do it. I just love helping small businesses. But when it's someone who I know has the budget for it, like, I also am aware, like, put yourself first. Like, this is your job. You've got to, put yourself out there. So
you're driving legitimate results.
When they come and be like, oh, this is our budget. And I work with influencers as well for the companies I work with. I'm on both ends of this. I influence and I work with influencers. So I know what a company of that size's budget would be.
Yep.
So I get the DM and I don't push back because it's my favorite thing to watch them. What just happened? So I worked with this photographer and he was like, based off my algorithm, for your following, you should have sold 6 workshops. And he said, and this algorithm has been tried and true for me for years. He's been working with influencers for years. This wasn't him that was underpaying, but he said, let's see how this goes. And he DM'd me like 4 hours later. He's in Australia. I'm here. And he goes, so you just sold 150 workshops. He goes, I have no idea what's going on. Like, who are you? And it was so fun for me. And that's what happens.
Way less followers than someone.
So much less. Like, honored he even thought to work with me. Agreed to work with me. And Brookstone, the people that are like in the airports and things.
Okay.
A few years ago, my account was so new. I only had 6,000 followers. And I was Brookstone's Influencer of the Year in 2019. They were DMing me just like, we don't mean to sound rude, but who are you? I'd been doing it for like 2 years before that. But I have a following that like no one would have even blinked twice at. Okay. But micro influencers, macro influencers, all of them, it doesn't matter the size. Like, if it's the right fit, it's going to it blows people away what they're capable of.
Okay, I'm thinking this, and I know audience would be thinking this. So how do you build what you're doing with? How do you build more depth in your followers rather than just focusing on the width? Because that's something I feel like you are the example of.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm an example of that too. Like I would never I'm not ever following and unfollowing someone.
Yeah.
I'm never really like doing anything to hack the follower count. But like the followers that I do have, I'm developing that.
Yes.
And I think that in a longer scale leads to more width too.
Yeah.
But it seems like you focus a lot on the depth of the followers that you do have, and you're driving insane results with a smaller follower count than way bigger. How do you do that? How do you build that?
Again, I think it's that trust that I've built with my followers. They know full well I would never, and I hope they keep me in mind.
Are we talking because you just
do what I don't want to do? Talk to them. I get to every DM.
Like how can someone
hard.
else do that, or is that just is that like a skill you have? Is that something you're teaching to other businesses of how to do? Like if you were talking to a business like Thirst, like how could we have more depth, more relationship with our followers? And get more out of what we have?
I think it is something you can develop. I do think it's just also it's my personality. I do just genuinely love connecting with people. It's not something I have to like try to get to that DM. Like if I know something's gone unread, it kills me. Like there's been a girl, I remember she asked for something in November and I can't find her name and it's killing me.
Do you get to everything?
I try. And so when I don't, and I remember there's someone out there who wanted a photo of my couch. I know if you're listening, like, please DM me again. But I think there are some things you can practice, but there are some things you can't teach. And that's always been one of my strengths. It's just who I am. But for brands, like, I can't have a personal relationship with Anthropologie. I can't. But you can hire people who can. You can hire customer service people. You can hire a social media content creator who knows how to interact with people. And, like, you know when an influencer's genuinely asking you, like, which one do you like more versus the ones you can kind of tell they're like, I just want you to react on this poll because it's going to help me in the algorithm. So I just think it's having an honest conversation with you. Like, what do I want today? Do I want to make money or do I really want someone's life to change because of this product that's like making me look so good or feel so good? And people pick up on it. So just go into the core of you and why you're doing what you're doing. People pick up on it.
I think it seems like you don't, the way I like to think about it too is, and it's very clear that you do this, you don't think of them as you think of them as a real person. Like I feel like we forget that a follower is a human. That I forget this all the time. Like, oh, I just posted 3 minutes of stories that I have just thought I was just getting out of my system.
People.
To my phone. There are thousands of people are having that conversation with you. And I think that's a way that businesses can think about it too. When I was saying with just communicating, like, really? Like, you're going to hire someone that, this is something cliche that happens. People, you've probably seen this. Business owners that usually, I feel like when they're older, they'll hire their 16-year-old, you know? Or like, I literally went to this thing where it was like, yeah, we have all these kids that are going to help us. And no, this is the number one communication line that you have with your customer, the number one. Like, what if I said that this was a direct text line or direct phone call with your customer who's keeping you in business? You probably wouldn't hire your niece. You know, like that would be you. That would be the CEO. That would be the owner. I mean, to a degree, and you know,
for sure.
Or someone like you say, who you hire to be a part of that team and care about. But thinking about them and focusing on things like the growth or trying to get them in or hacking followers, as opposed to just, this is the number one way we can communicate with customers.
Just care.
We're just talking to them.
100%. And I think it's different for macro influencers versus micro, and different for companies on a national or global scale versus small business. Like, your budget looks different, your audience looks different. And like, I have friends that are macro influencers, and there is like why a brand would want to work with them. Like, they will drive tons of sales, yes, but they also are more for brand awareness. Right? Because they also have a lot of things they've got to share that day. They are, doing funnels. Like paid ads, whereas micro influencers, like, I obviously love of course I'd love to grow my account. Like, who doesn't? More people to meet, more people to know, more opportunities. But micro influencers, it's like, they are to them, I think it's more real. They know you probably bought that with your own money and are still out there talking about it, even though that brand's just like, bless powerful. Your heart. So there's that level more of trust. And like, I do think macro influencers, I've had friends that we've talked and I've kind of not coached them, but we talk about it. And just like really trying to make sure your audience feels still that you're that genuine person, even though you've made it, right? But it's still possible.
You're so right about the micro too. Like, and so tell me what you think of this. This is a strategy that got our Salt Lake downtown store way busier. And we did opening up here in Mill Creek. We're doing it in West Jordan right now, which is we really, if you use the same simplified thinking of, okay, we're not even talking about influencers or micro or macro. We're talking about humans.
Customers, people, neighbors.
Customers, though.
Neighbors.
Yeah, like
100%.
legitimate customers that live locally. Let's even go there. We find them by using Instagram search.
Yes.
Search West Jordan. Who's posting in West Jordan?
Going around.
Sally, who has 1,200 followers, has not an influencer.
No, but guess what? She does, because she goes home and she tells her mom and her dad and her sister what she ordered, and guess who shows up the next day?
And that's what we're trying to do, right? Is get a customer.
Absolutely.
And so we like in our model, we literally, our goal is to send like 5,000 in West Jordan before we even open.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly what we got, but we'll say something like super authentic. Not like a copy paste bot type of thing.
No.
Something more like, hi, this is Ethan, the owner of Thirst. I saw you're posting in, hi Isabelle, this is Ethan, the owner of Thirst, because I care enough to that this human, not
this
follower.
is how you actually did do it to me.
Is it?
Yes, and you said, I love seeing you do this. This seems like it'd work really well with what we're doing, and we made that connection. It wasn't copy paste. I pulled right in my car. Because you can tell it's copy paste, but
No
you're looking
way.
at their
You
feed.
actually got one of those
100%.
for me?
I could pull it up.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, and it worked. And look where we are. Best friends.
It's like if you stop thinking about it, if you start thinking about them how you just described them, which is with one, so much power, but two, someone like me, a sale in the door today. Like I could DM someone in Mill Creek, offer them a free pretzel bite cup. They could come in and also buy 3 drinks when they get here. And I just made profit and potentially saved my business. Like I think this is like, for someone who's trying to drive someone who's listening to this is like, okay, you're this girl who's crushing it on marketing, and I just want a tip. Like, how can I do it?
Got it.
Like mine, that was my next question for you, but mine, while I'm still on this, is the freest strategy of all time. Use the Instagram search function and DM an authentic, real message people till your fingers bleed. That's how I got Thirst popular. That's literally, I feel like, the driving factor is they
know Ethan from Thirst now.
Yeah, I sought out my customers and started developing a relationship with them. I used Instagram, but they're my customers, not a follower. Yeah. And I did it for free because it's free, but it takes a lot of work and you have to have the right mindset. That's my tip. Okay, if someone's saying, okay, now we know Instagram influencers are powerful, she's telling us all about it. How do I do it if I'm just like a local shop that's not?
I got the answer.
What do you do?
Most people don't have a budget, right?
Yeah.
So let's say I work with a brand and they don't really have the budget to pay an influencer. I always say, if you're a business, I am very weary of set fees. I'm very wary for a few reasons. One, you've agreed to something without seeing the results.
That's so
and
bold.
I see companies, especially small businesses, get ghosted more than usual, whether not a post altogether. And like, I could give you numbers of what I've seen. So like, for instance, there's one company I worked for, we send out 10 products, 7 of those go missing. They don't post. And it's not that they didn't like it, they asked for it. I love this, I used to own X, can I have Y? So that already sucks if you're a small business. Like, you've just lost things. Yeah. So you don't want to pay, always do commission. Unless
this doesn't happen.
Influencers
don't say this.
Oh.
They want their $750 for a post, and that's it, because
2-second
they know
post.
they followed and unfollowed people, and those people aren't going to buy anything. This, like, seriously, why I've jumped in is because I've literally like never even seen someone so bold about it, but it says so much that I don't even like doing those. Like, you don't even like doing those. That's how confident you are, and that you built this thing the right way, and that you drive results.
Thank you. You're sweet. But yeah, I tell small businesses,
awesome.
Commission based. When it's commission based, you're going to work your butt off because your check's higher the harder you work. Whereas I was noticing when we were paying someone a set fee, even though we laid out, we want 3 stories, 1 post. Mm-hmm. The 3 stories were just like, oh yeah, that back there is this. Like, that was really cool. So anyway, and the 3 other stories we were still tagged in, but it wasn't spent the whole 60 seconds.
They were just trying to get it done.
Diving in. They just checked it off, and they got their check.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of those out there, but there are them. And so commission, 1, but 2.
How do you do that? So like, if they're a
Reward
jewelry shop.
Styles one way, or you can set up. There's a lot of different, like Aspire IQ's one. Aspire. There's 4.co. There's a lot of mediums. If you don't want to, you have to apply for reward styles.
And if you're overwhelmed, like, hey, if however many pretzels you sell through my website, I'll give you $1 a pretzel.
Exactly. Like, mention my name, or you can, in Shopify, there's ways to go and see how many people use the code I honestly love and pay them that way. But the best free hack, are you ready for this?
Yeah. Best free
what
hacks,
you are
is it?
doing already. So you're not going to be shocked. It is not always just influencers. I'm saying this as an influencer. The best advice is your customers. They are your best marketing. They are the ones that pull through thirst, go home, tell their friends and family how to upload the selfie with the cup. It's their friends and family. They have that connection to them. That's why I focus on my connection with my following, because I want them to feel the same way about me as they do their sister who came home and told them about thirst, like mine did me. But there's 2 companies, and I'll keep this short, that do it really well.
You're
One's
good.
a local company, and they have what's called like a Maven program. And what their Maven is they do use influencers, but they use people who fit maybe kind of their brand image, outdoorsy, athletic, new mom, and they have like a 6-month period where they send them a product every month. So I guess it's not essentially free, but you aren't paying them on top of a free product or even giving them a discount code. And in return, you ask for 2 posts a month. Not only are you getting access to all their feeds, you did not pay for it. They already have built relationship with, even if they're 1,000 followers, but you're getting that exposure and you're getting content. I have a Dropbox for each of my clients with thousands and thousands of videos of photo shoots. I didn't have to book a studio, a photographer, models, makeup, and hair for. I've got content now. So these Maven programs are amazing. Or like one of the companies I work for, we have a hashtag. And if they use a hashtag and we end up using their photos, we DM them a little code for free shipping or 10, 15% off. So they are tagging us in their photos.
Would you
and
recommend-
when they use our hashtag, we tell them like that gives us permission to use the photos for copyright and whatever. And again, every day we have 100 new photos that we have access to. People that follow them are seeing, oh, why'd you tag this company? Oh, they're cute. And we're getting free content to use on our site. And it cost us nothing.
Yeah. My question was going to be, and I'm just thinking about like, would you probably recommend then not working with an influencer that just wants it all up front? Especially if you're not.
I'd be wary of anyone that comes up front with, if you don't have the budget for it, don't feel like you have to do it. Don't kill yourself to pay an influencer. But there are so many influencers like when I first started, and even still, that are just so happy to work with you. That they all just do it for practice, for exposure, for a code, for their followers where they get no kickback. There are majority of things I do. There's this earring company I post about 3 times a week. I get no kickback, but I genuinely love them. I love that my followers get a code. And because it makes my followers happy, that's payment to me. I don't need to always have a check to have rewards and payment to me, because then when I do share something and I do want payment on it and we have worked out payment, they already love and trust me and they're thankful for the code.
100%. I think we just helped a lot of businesses.
I hope so.
I hope we did.
I hope we did.
If nothing else, we had fun.
I think honestly, stop worrying about the numbers, stop worrying about that strategy, the budget, being the best, and just like people will know you're genuine. I feel it with you. Everyone feels it. I mean, that's why I agreed to
and don't take the easy way out.
And don't take the easy way out. Yeah.
Like I feel like the easy way out is I don't have time to learn how to do that crap.
No,
like I'll just pay. I'd rather just pay.
I literally made up my job and it's working.
Specifically though, even talking about influencers, like I feel like the lazy way is just to pay someone, but the way that not only is free and works better is to actually dive in and do the tactics we just talked about.
Make that connection.
Yeah.
That's how you did it. Now we're here.
I honestly loved on Instagram. Where else can they talk to you?
My personal one, Isabelle Baker, but I honestly loved.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to tag her in the description. Thanks, sis.
You're the best, Ethan.
Talk to you soon. See ya.
That was fun, you guys.
That was huge, I feel like. Thanks everybody for listening to another episode of the Learning by Doing podcast. It's been a blast having this podcast and be able to communicate with the Ethan from Thirst Nation in just another way. Speaking of Ethan from Thirst, if you guys haven't followed me on Instagram or checked out my YouTube channel, that's really where I'm sharing everything. The whole entrepreneurial journey, everything, every part of it, you're going to get it. Follow me at Ethan from Thirst on Instagram, and I'd be really grateful for your follow. I would look forward to having a conversation with you over DM. Leaving a review if you like this podcast too would be awesome, because I'm trying to get in the podcast game and I'd love your approval. So thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.